My name is Jens Bogren, and I'm the producer of the new Kreator album Phantom Antichrist. And right now we're at Fascination Street Studios, one of the facilities. Musically speaking, this album is definitely the most epic Kreator album to date, I would say. There are journeys, melodic journeys, and journeys through the songs that hasn't been really heard before here.
I'm very excited about it. Mille and the band took a very long time to the songwriting process, so like over a year, and a lot of good songs there. Very many, very many.
I had the vision of an album, of a Kreator album that's larger than life in a way and over the top without being, you know, power metal or something. It's thrash metal, symphonic, whatever, you know. We wanted it to be like really, really different than Hordes of Chaos. We just wanted to take it a step further, and we came up with all these crazy melodies.
Some riffs, for example, are ridiculously hard to play, and we're at the edge of our abilities. But that gives a very nice energy to it, and we also challenge ourselves.
For the history of Kreator, I would say this Phantom Antichrist is just a natural progression of the last three. I think the last three albums, starting with Violent Revolution, Enemy of God, and Hordes of Chaos, those were very much connected in a way. And this is gonna be the next step. Those three albums were like a manifestation of our style. Now we're celebrating our style.
You definitely have all the trademark Kreator stuff on this album as well, but obviously Mille has matured as a songwriter, and he's trying new things. He's not one of these songwriters that wants to fulfill his own visions too much. Of course he wants to do that, but he also wants to make Kreator albums, and I think that's a really good thing and what has kept this band going for so long, and staying true to themselves, basically.
First and foremost, I have to like the songs. I have to be happy with the songs. The band has to be happy with the songs. We're our own worst critics. There's no such thing as a good enough on this album, and so we just made sure that this is the most intense Kreator record ever.
Souls awake enough to see far beyond the light.
One vision that we have had for this album is that it should sound a little dangerous. My good friend Don Svaner once said that listening to modern metal is like flying a jumbo jet, or at least traveling by one. It's super fast, super high above the earth, and you know, could be dangerous, but it doesn't feel like that. However, if you compare that to driving an old Saab on Autobahn in 80, it feels like things are gonna go to hell any second, and you do not know what's behind the next turn. That's kind of the vibe that we want for this album.
As we kept writing songs, this Phantom Antichrist song, you know, it turned out to be the strongest one. In the intro, I do this eerie kind of singing with this soft voice, and I was really inspired by the movie Suspiria by Dario Argento, an Italian director. The soundtrack of that movie is kind of similar, and I always wanted to have something like that on an album. So this is going to be, hopefully, be the new intro of the band. We have used Choir of the Damned of a Fleshly Kill for so many years now. We wanted to have something new.
Leaving trails of blood.
Antichrist is not about Satan, it's not about the Antichrist. After the execution of Osama bin Laden, the government of the United States, they took the dead body and threw it into the ocean. To me, it was kind of strange because I would have figured if they catch the guy, why not, you know, finding out about who was responsible for all the terrorist attacks, who were the main forces behind Al-Qaeda. But that didn't happen. That inspired me to think about the mass media in general. And the Antichrist is a metaphor for some made-up enemy that's not existing to justify war and justify other crimes. There's this other song on the album called Civilization Collapse, which is inspired by the collapse of the Greek economy, and it's about a revolution, people protesting against the oppression of the capitalistic system that we're living in.
Now let the riots begin.
This system has to come to an end at some point, and I don't know when this is going to be, but I think we're on the edge of its end. Our present day situation doesn't have to necessarily be the best of all possible situations. So I think changing things, ending the old and start something new is a positive thing.
As a musician or just as any person, you look around you and some things bother you, and in this way a metal album is a good way to bring out your feelings and opinions about stuff, what's going on.
I would say that we have a political hint in some of the songs. Describing Kreator as a political band, I'm not sure. I mean, it's more like issues that I'm getting mad about. A lot of times that just has to do with politics.
But then again, it's not so clearly stated in every way. You know, lyrics can also be interpreted in different ways.
I'm standing on a frozen sea in the city of Örebro, which is in Sweden.
Some people say that Sweden is a good country for producing metal, which I think has to do with two things. The first thing is that everyone has a garage in Sweden, so everyone has the ability to have their rehearsal room. And the second thing is that it's so cold up here, so you either have to play music or fuck to keep warm.
See, the thing is, a lot of people think once you go into a country, a particular country like Sweden, for example, to produce an album, people tend to think, oh, it's going to have a Swedish sound. There's no such thing as a Swedish sound. We are Kreator, and we're always going to sound like Kreator, no matter whether or not we record on Mars or in Sweden. The good thing about recording here, you don't get distracted by anything else. You can really focus on the record, and that was important for us, that we don't get you know, any phone calls in or whatever. It was a musical journey in a way where we didn't want any outside influences. Örebro is definitely the right environment for this. As you can see, we're in the middle of nowhere, but it's a nice middle of nowhere.
Yeah, people have it good here in Örebro. There's a lot of music going on over here, a lot of metal bands like Dan Swano, the famous producer, lives here, and Amon Amarth, the band, they're from here too.
Yeah, Sweden. A lot of snow, a lot of elks. We've seen some moose the other day. 2 of them were walking around here. They're all in the woods over there.
There's so much going on here, you wouldn't believe it. But Örebro is a nice place.
Last summer, Mille called me and asked if I would be interested in working with the guys for their next album.
It was a long process of like coming up with ideas. Everyone would throw in their ideas. Sami would come in from Finland, and we would get together as a band basically all year, writing the new album.
Some months later, Mille sent me the first couple of demo tracks, which sounded really cool. And early December, I went down to Essen to their rehearsal room to go through the songs one final time. I forgot my earplugs and I had to put paper in my ears to be able to be there, because the snare drum from Ventura was so loud. I asked him, would it be possible to, you know, hit a little looser now when we're just trying out things, or perhaps tune down the snare a little bit? And he said, no. And I could feel the snare drum in my bones, every hit of it. I never came across a drummer that hits that hard as this one does. So this is a real deal, old school. We had a few really intensive days in Varberg early January in the second Fascination Street facility.
There we had an SSL, you know, like a huge mixing desk that was, you know, good for that kind of recording.
That facility has a really, really good drum room. It's big. It's an old barn, actually.
That was done pretty basically live, you know. We were just all in the same room and performed our sheer metal mayhem.
In my opinion, it creates a better nerve for the drums and bass if everyone is playing along.
Because that gives you a better band feeling, and songs are just sound more organic. It was a little hard because sometimes when somebody fucked up, everybody had to stop. It was long days.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a tough schedule because we've only been there for about 10 days or so. But the band chemistry really helped because everyone was in a good mood, everyone was enjoying it, hanging out, eating together, doing stupid stuff that you would do when you're in a band.
And with that nailed, Ventura and Spisi went back to Germany, and me, Sami and Mille got up here to Örebro, which is also my home, to do the rest of the guitars and vocals.
All I need is a hat with a feather.
What for?
To make this sound better.
We have recorded a few acoustic parts for this album, and for those I wanted a little different flavor.
Jens works at the university sometimes. We had the chance to go there to a bigger room with a higher roof and a more of a nice sound for recording the acoustic guitar.
And they also have a Neve console, and I felt that that could be a good addition for the sound. The room makes a huge impact on these kind of acoustic elements. To me, that's very important. I really appreciate a good room.
Not bad. Let's try one more.
This is definitely the hardest session for me, especially as a singer. I know where my limits are. Jens has gotten so much out of me. On this album I have such a large variety of melodies that I can sing and that I reach.
I like music that has a soul. I want to hear expression, emotions in the music.
I think he's a very professional and sadistic man, because he always woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can you believe it?
The leading word is maniac. Like if Maniac Cop would play guitar.
It's been a pretty tough process. We've been working really hard. It sometimes can take time to get the magical takes happen.
He has this word that I've heard very many times, which is called one more time, one more take.
One more time, one more time.
Let's try one more.
One more time, yeah.
Let's try one more.
Let's do one more time, yeah.
One more time.
So let's do it like this one more time.
Let's try one more.
Let's do one more time. Nog eenmaal.
Now I won't have to listen to it anymore. No, but the production, his production-wise, is very good. He concentrates a lot on the feel of every take.
I heard that Mille has said that this is the toughest producer he's ever worked with and required the hardest work ever, but I'm not sure that's true actually. I think we're in the end of the production now, and I think at this point he probably feels that this is so hard, but I'm sure he says that for every album. The cheese police is something that every producer should have in the studio. Sometimes when you get the German bands in, they want to put third harmonies on everything, and it gets a little cheesy, and that's very dangerous. Especially this album, which is pretty epic and also has a lot of melodic parts. It's important that it doesn't get too nice.
The cheese police, well, we are our own cheese police, I believe, but now we have an additional cheese police from Sweden. His name is Jens, and almost all the time I agree.
That's not the reason why I brought you here. You may want to turn off the camera now. I just had this idea. Do you think it would be over the top? Green, everyone.
No, it's very much on the edge. It is on the edge.
But isn't the song on the edge? It could be the thing that, you know, brings up the energy here in the end. It doesn't have to even have to sound human when I'm done with it, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
Just the,
that would be an option. Yeah, we can try. I'm not so convinced, but that's a matter of like you mixing it.
Yeah, and we have two big Germans and two small Scandinavians.
Okay, let's try it. Production is at its final stages. We're doing some more vocals, some more guitar leads, and then we're about done. And Jens is going to be left here all by himself for the mix of the album, and I hope he's going to do a good job, otherwise I'm going to kill him.
I usually do my mastering work myself, but this time we're heading for Sterling Sound and Ted Jensen in New York.
Ted Jensen is one of the best mastering cats, if not the best mastering guy in the world, in my opinion. I think that's gonna also be a big plus to have the final detail to be right.
I'm Jan Meininghaus. I'm responsible for the graphical concept of Phantom Antichrist. One very important fact from the very beginning was that Mille and I agreed on for the whole record artwork to have totally handmade, no Photoshop, totally old school art on canvas. Mille came up with the idea of having two album cover artworks. One is made by Wes Benscotter,
who is famous for his work for Dio, Black Sabbath, Slayer and Autopsy. I explained the rough concept, and he came up with this post-apocalyptic, nightmarish artwork with the Kreator demon riding a four-headed spider horse in a way. I think this is one of the best artworks that we've had.
I should be responsible for the sleeve design, for the booklet design, and I also made one of the two cover artworks. The stuff we see in the booklet is an idea that I wasn't sure to present to Mille anyway, but he said, yes, that's exactly what we need. It's not the typical heavy metal artwork, it's more a wild combination of something somebody might have put together who is weird and who has visions of the near apocalypse, like serial killer or somebody who is really a troubled mind.
Antichrist!
This production with Kreator is definitely one of the peaks in my career so far. I'm proud of the album and happy to be able to do the band justice.
You're the few, the proud.